Okay. Welcome, Tectonic Traveler. Welcome, Tectonic Time Travelers, to super psychedelic cyberspace. We take a detour off, take a detour off the normal route. I'm just stopping in for a short coffee and the lighting sucks, but hey, that's okay. We can see what we can do here with that. I've got my little solar lights out here just for fun. And that doesn't work too well either. All right. Let's see here. Bear with me while we get it going. I would say that's some pretty horrible lighting, but that's just how it goes here at Camp Tectonic. Sitting here with Uncle D, super psychedelic cyberspace. So my favorite guy on Instagram says. One of my favorite guys. Hey, I'm just stopping in for a little coffee. We were talking. I was going to talk a little bit about my friend Raju, who he's from India, works for Google, or he did work for Google. So my little title there is actually pretty true, pretty psychedelic, cyberspacey, that's for sure. And here's how it goes. Well, Raju came up to Alaska, and he came up. I met him in the summer of 2015, I think. And he came up with this other group of guys, and they were from Santa Clara College, or College of Santa Clara University. I think that's a pretty big university down there. And also, he went to Stanford. Anyway, they came up, little group of them, and they were doing some studies. And it was when the cloud was kind of like things were getting big with the cloud. Everybody was, iCloud and the cloud, putting things in the cloud, right? So these guys came up, and we took them on a raft trip. It was an overnighter, actually 2 nights. And their whole thing was we had no interaction with them other than cooking for them, taking them down the river. And these guys were studying with their phones, and they had all sorts of little equipment and seeing if they could actually work from the cloud from remote places. This is a true story, by the way. Oh, 0 of you. Hello. Hey, super crowd. Anyway, so we organized a big raft trip. We knew they were coming 6 months in advance or something. Got the trip ready for them. Me and one of the other guides we helicoptered in and got everything ready. Then they came in later, and we took them down the river. It was interesting. Now, one of them stuck around. The guys, the group, they took off. One of these guys, Raju, that's not his real name. He stuck around, and then he was going to go back after the summer and work full time for Google doing this program, right? So Raju went hiking with us, and he hung out with all these different people. Like in Denali National Park, if you come there and you do something and you spend like a week or so or two, you're going to meet people, and you're going to end up like sometimes people end up staying there. I know people that end up still there after 30 years. But Raju, he was just up there for a little bit. And we went out to that. I don't know if any of you remember the Into the Wild, the bus that was out on that trail while I lived out on that road that turns into a trail. A lot of people live out there. And it's really just another subdivision, another road, dirt road, kind of a little bit paved. And it's not really like that big of a deal, but that movie made it a big deal. A lot of people came out there and wanted to hike out to the bus, which is a grueling 20-mile hike that people have died doing. So anyway, Raju, let's hike out there. So I hiked out there with Raju and back. Those are just some of the things I did with him. So a couple years ago, I talked to him email, and he said, yeah, we're still working on this program. We're also working on a bunch of other weird stuff. And he worked for Google, and then he went to work for another company that I shouldn't probably mention here. It's very well known. and they're working on some weird AI stuff, and they have been for quite some time. And Raju's been involved in that. It's okay for me to tell the story without using Raju's name and where he worked. So all I know is Raju, last time I talked to him, he says, it's a stressful job. It's been going okay. And then I talked to him recently, and he said he quit. And he said, no, I quit, man. He says, some of the people that I work with have gone missing. Great for my channel, right? Great for this niche that I'm doing and which I love, but I don't like seeing people missing. This one's weird, and Raju's going to go into it more with me. And I'm going to try to bring him on and like blur out his face or something, because he would be willing to talk. But there's really not a lot to talk about other than the fact that some of his coworkers are just gone. And he said he thinks they might have went back to India during that whole thing with visas, some of them. Now, there's a big group of them, right? This is probably 100 people he works with. Now, I'm only guessing that. He said he worked with a large group of people, and a lot of his colleagues were missing. So he decided he was going to just go a different direction. So he started his own little company in AI and doing his thing. He's in Palo Alto now, just got married and doing his thing. But he said it was really weird. And so I asked him, I go, what can you talk about? And he goes, I really can't talk about it. He said, but he was working on time travel and at AI in Silicon Valley. And I've heard about this shit on all these conspiracy channels and stuff. And I was like, wow, interesting. So he wanted to talk to me more about that at some point, but right now, it was more of like just a flash conversation. And I'm like, time travel. And so I emailed him through, instead of doing Messenger, went through private email through our VPNs. And I said, hey man, can you tell me any more right now about it? He said, no, he was really just disappointed on how there was just no answers through at his work, the immigration. So at Google and a lot of these big companies, they have these people are over here on visas, so they don't stay they can only stay for so long, but really they're high quality people and they want them to stay here. So they do all they can, but some of them got sent back. But he said some of the people that were sent back, their families said they never came home. Interesting stuff, man. And so put it in the comments if you guys know anything about that kind of stuff going on. It's been going on. Silicon Valley. I built restaurants and houses in Palo Alto and met people that work in a lot of stuff before AI was a big deal. And now that it's a big deal, I saw it coming. And I saw it coming when this was before AI was a big deal. I met this guy. He was from China, and he was living there. I helped build his kitchen, remodel his kitchen in this beautiful old home that he bought. He worked for a big company in Silicon Valley. These houses are, $2 million, $3 million. And so he and his wife moved in. He was doing that, all new stuff. But this guy had created a robot wife, AI wife, a long time ago. Not for himself, but his goal was to create a mate for men. It was mainly for men, not for the stuff you're thinking about, but mainly like cooking and everything, And now that thing that he built and that company in Silicon Valley is massive. And you can look it up. One of the parts of that company is called Applied Materials, and that's not him. He works for part of that. That's like some of the people that supported this whole robot program. And anyway, and I could be wrong. This is all conspiracy until it's proven. But these are stories I've experienced and I know. And I'm enjoying this great Colombian coffee. So my whole gig is totally the biking, the adventures, the weird stories, the wackiness of the world. So and camping and climbing and stuff. But really what it comes down to is just weirdness and strangeness and the unknown. And I'm biking along all the time, wondering what I'm going to run into. Hopefully not a banana tree like I did a few years ago. Yes, I did. A banana tree, amongst other things. And hey, the bike doesn't show up very well here, does it, tonight? I wonder if we just like move the lights. That didn't really do anything. Anyhow, yeah, that's how it goes when you're not scripted and staged. And this is a live from Southern California. It's Sunday night. Everybody's getting ready for work, I suppose. But yeah, I enjoy sitting here and talking to the screen. Really, it's good practice for me. As a guide, I used to talk to people, so I was in practice all the time. But right now, I spend a lot of time alone when I'm biking, or just lately I've been up in the Northwest. I've been around a lot of people, but a lot of times I'll go weeks without talking to people, and almost like I have to relearn to talk to people. Not really, but it's sort of it's one of those things where you're like, shit, I haven't done this in a while. Now, when I got back after a year in Colombia and not really talking English to anybody, I didn't speak my own language other than on the phone and FaceTime and shit like that. But I was around Spanish the whole time, and I got back, and it took me a while to, get back into the swing of things. And it was the same as coming back from Nepal and the Himalayas. I had to get used to the whole thing again. Hey, 3 cups of coffee, not tea. So yeah, thanks for coming over. And if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. But it's nice to be able to sit here and pretty much talk to myself sometimes because it's good practice, like I said earlier. Hey, welcome, people. This is classic. It's fun though. I like it. I might have to take a break. And I do that quite often. I am the king of breaks, and it's usually safety talk. That's me. I might just do that right now. I'll be back. Hey, I'll be back. I'll be back. Ah. All right. Anyway, we're just finishing up our first cup of coffee here, almost into the second cup. Hey, all one of you. How are you? Welcome. Kind of dark out here. Sitting by the camp, not the campfire, but the camp lights and the bicycle. See you later. And hey, I should just start talking again, huh? I'll be right back. Hey, I'll be right over. Be right on over. You just hold tight there. Hey, we'll be right with you. We're wrapping this up over here and getting ready for this over here. Hey, I'll be right there. Be right there. Go ahead and ask a question if you need to, and I'll answer when I get back. Oh, boy. Almost there. All right, I get wrap that up. All that away. I think it's going to rain here. Might get a little rain. Hey, there's a person there. How are you? It's kind of dark out here by the camp lights. Welcome. I've already talked for about a half hour, rambling on about time travelers, and not really though. Just about a guy that came up to Alaska to work with me, who was with Google. They were studying that cloud thing up there. Hey, balancing bike life, man. Getting ready for the work week? Are you ready? I shouldn't have said that. I'm like that. I've been on here for a little bit talking, yapping. I'm going to have to get ready for my work day tomorrow myself. But, I think I've told you this before, and just like I did up in the Northwest, I was doing some work, but I'm always, well, I shouldn't say always, but I do projects. And while I'm here, I get sucked into projects, but I need the projects, right? That's work. And it just kind of depends on where I am and what I'm doing. I try to plan them ahead of time. And then when I got back down here, I found out there's something that I am going to be involved with, but it's not very long and it's perfect. Probably about 2 weeks. So I think that'll start next week. And this is all good money up for me for South America and for the winter, because that'll go a long way for me, Let's see. Oh, whoops. Fall leaf. Oh, cool. Yeah, right on, man. Good. Yeah, the leaves must be turning killer. You don't see it down here in the palm trees. I'm down here in the desert. There are a few trees you see changing, but especially out in the excuse me, out in the valley, like out in the where the water even out in the desert where the water is, where the creeks and streams are and all the trees are. You can always, when you're in the desert, where it's classic, like the old movies. Oh, there's water. So all the trees fall, and they're just, and those aren't usually the pines and stuff. They're usually those ones that turn. And you can, like you're seeing back there. I'll bet you get some really good stuff back there. So somebody I know, or my someone from here is not here now, in Ohio visiting. Hey, other person who just showed up, thank you for coming in. And if you've been here before, we've just been chit-chatting. If you haven't been here before, there's a bike behind me, and I'm usually talking about bike stuff, mystery stuff, camping. I feel like I'm camping right now out here by these solar lights, but I'm not. And we're just talking to balancing bike life here, who's getting ready to hit the work week. Hey, see you later, other person. It's like I was saying the other night, it's like a store, or it's like we're in a shopping mall. People just pop in. Hey, what do they got in here? Oh, that's not what I want there. Okay. We're not for everybody over here, are we? That's for sure. Obviously not. Yeah, it's funny. my channel is just cruising. There's lots of views, and I'm getting a ton of subscribers every day. I got 40 since yesterday, night before last. And but the lives, well, as you know, I don't give a lot of notice. I just kind of, hey, I'm coming on live, and everybody's probably eating dinner, working, getting ready for the work week. And but I have fun anyway. This is fun for me. I miss some of my old people who used to jump on here like Apache. You've been here for a long time. Thank you. Dry. Yeah, it's dry there. No, isn't it weird that I haven't? But here's a couple things. I have a close. So, well, yeah. So I've heard noises that somebody told me those are Bigfoot noises, and I didn't know at first. I was like, oh, okay, whatever. That just sounds like something howling or whatever, yelling, and like yapping. And so for years, I didn't. This was back in the late '70s, early '80s, and it wasn't in Alaska. This was Northern California. And so then my girlfriend later, I had a girlfriend who was a master carpenter, master woodworker up in Alaska. We worked on some jobs to get big jobs together, and she used to tell me, we'd be like down in the crawl space of a building for all winter working together, just telling stories. And she goes, "Yeah, they had a ranch in Idaho, and I got to hear these tapes later, where they recorded up at her mom's ranch Bigfoot noises, and they used to hear them all the time up there, and the neighbors would hear them, and it's like, okay, well, maybe it's different, maybe it's something else, but they all, and then you hear these noises on TV later, and all these specials down now, it's that same noise. Anyway, I got to hear the tapes like in the '90s when her mom came to, well, her mom lived in Fairbanks, Alaska, and we lived in Denali. So we went up to her house when she bought a house and moved in there, and she had the tapes out and listened to it. And then the other thing is Mount Shasta on the north side, coming on my bike trip. I had what could have been, now there's a video about this trip, and I don't mention Bigfoot in it, but I had some noises of like big crunching noises, too big to be a deer. I mean, just heavy. But what overshadowed that, because I thought, oh, God, is that a Bigfoot or a bear? It wasn't a bear. I know the bear sound, and this was more of a thump. Two of them and more, and then kind of, but, that's just all whatever hearsay now. But what happened on that trip, even that overshadows that for me, and it's in that video, is I got off the road to Stealth Camp, and it wasn't far, just those cattle grades you go across, and which is just right off the road. And then I kind of went parallel to the road and got into the woods there and went to sleep. But I was really tired, really disoriented when I woke up, and I was like, wow, but I wasn't, I was fine. And I decided to stay the day there, just sleep, take a nap. I'm in the woods. I can hear the highway over there, Highway 97, and I'm up near Hebron Summit, Hebron Pass, Hebron Summit. And there's no, if you look that up on Google, there are no houses there, nothing, just gates and cattle and shit. But anyway, I'm camping in there, and out in the woods where there's no road, there's not even not even in the, there was downfall everywhere. Like, oh, there's a lot of ponderosa pine just all over limbs. And I'm napping, and I'm thinking, well, I'm dreaming, right? Well, I didn't, because it scared the shit out of me. I got up, and I look out my tent. I unzip because I heard a truck, or I heard a motor, and here comes this truck. Next, an older truck, not old, not like some ghost truck, but an old, like 80s truck, GMC, going by with a dog and a guy in it with a hat. And they're just kind of going over the limbs, not big limbs, just kind of like you could, not four-wheeling or anything. And I'm like, what the fuck is that guy doing? Right by my tent. I mean, not right by my tent, but within like maybe 25 yards. and he's kind of weaving through the trees and didn't even look over at me because I'm at my tent because I'm looking out the zipper. And I thought, what the fuck? Why is that? Is he a pot grower or something? But at the same time, it's all dry out there and nobody's going to be out there, even though there are out there, it just was weird. That guy would be driving through there. And I thought, shit, he probably lives out here or camping out here. And I'm not going to sleep another night right here. I'm taking a nap. I got a whole nother night. So I pack up everything while he's gone in case he's going to come back or something later. Pack it up on the bike, and I'm exhausted. And I push across this deadfall into weird, different directions so that guy wouldn't find me in a whole nother space where he wouldn't even hear me snoring off in the woods. And so found a spot. And I never heard the guy coming back, but I went to sleep that night, and there was a red moon I've never seen before. It lit. I thought there was a red light outside my tent. That was the other weird thing. But then it gets more kind of messed up as I wake up the next morning and I pack up. I want to get the hell out of there. And I'm out of water too. I got to get another 8 miles until there's going to be water. So I load up the bike and I head toward the track where I can hear the traffic, where I'm just kind of, instead of going back to the cattle grade and do the little side road, I was going to cut up to the road. And I go up there and I hear a dog. And I look down parallel. Thank you. I appreciate this because this seems kind of boring sometimes. Dammy, I'll remember you. Oh, yeah, I remember you. Oh, awesome. Because you're the only one who said you had the same birthday. I only have one other friend who has the same birthday. So Bart, my friend Bart. Well, I'll finish this. So that I look down parallel. I can't see the traffic quite yet. And I swear there's a house. But I can't see it real good. There's just trees and a dog barking and a truck or maybe something. And I'm not totally delirious. I'm tired. And I've been stealth camping. I'm way, way tired and dehydrated. And I'm looking down there and I'm like, oh shit, there's a house. So I cut up the embankment to get to there. Well, here it gets worse. There's a barbed wire fence, and I'm like, fuck. So there's a barbed wire fence, and I'm throwing everything off the bike, unstrap over the fence, bike over the fence, strap everything on, push it up that hill. And it's early in the morning. I always try to avoid seeing traffic. And I'm pushing up that little embankment. It's muddy, and here comes a freaking traffic. And then I'm sure they're like, oh, look at that guy. And I'm muddier than hell. I got chacos on. I got up to the road, and I'm like, I can't believe there's a freaking house there. But I wasn't even thinking about that. Just get going. And I started going and had to get to water. And I was pretty cold, wearing shorts and chacos, and it was early in the morning. It was a summer day, but it was colder than shit in the morning, and I was muddy. Anyway, so that freaked me out only because there's no house there when I pulled in there that night. So I get to Mount Shasta, and I get to my campground, and I Google Earth that spot, and I'm wasted, tired by the time I get to Shasta. And there's no houses there. There are no houses there. And to top it off, I went by there again because that is my route, Cascade Sierra, and I went by there again, and there are no houses. So maybe I was hallucinating. It very well could have been, but I doubt it. I mean, I wasn't on any drugs or anything. I was just dehydrated, way tired. But the dog barking, the guy in the truck, that's all too much. And I was even calling my daughter and my mom during the time going, hey, some guy in a truck just went by, I'm moving camp. And I was communicating with people. And so, although I was communicating with people in Colombia when I was all messed up, but I wasn't hallucinating then. Okay, sounds like a night from what here? I got to scroll. Oh, weird. Creepy. Wow. Woo, woo, woohoo. Ah, cool. Thanks, Demi. What part of the planet are you on? You don't have to tell me where. Just like, well, I'm always curious where people are. And I thank you for coming over here and hanging out. Horrible lighting. There's the bike behind me. That's always there with me, except for the last trip to the Northwest, which was a bummer. If you watch any of those videos, you know I was whining about not having the bicycle. Because, I mean, it's pretty much, that's my partner. Oh, shit, really? Oh, I've been through there a whole bunch. And, well, I don't know if you know where Hornbrook is, south of Ashland in California, but and then also in Ashland, I work at Tashi Choling, the Tibetan monastery. I built a bunch of things there. So if you ever get a chance to go check out Tashi Choling, south of it's in the Colstein Valley, right after the ski area, Mount at Ashland, down the hill, the other side, out of dirt road. But it's pretty well known. But Medford, yeah. Sorry if I made fun of Medford a couple times, but I've had some wild experiences in Medford. Okay. That's one of my favorite places on the planet. I have many friends there and also in Hornbrook, and some people out at the temple I still keep in touch with, but I usually just ride through there. So, did you hear about my hostel story in Ashland? Yeah. Because balancing bike life, have you heard that one? Hey, welcome whoever else is here. Thanks for coming in. And it's kind of just open questions if you want to ask. I already talked a little bit about my friend Raju from India and worked for Google. And it wasn't that interesting, but it was a little weird. Okay, well, I'll just tell it real quick. Um, just a couple years ago, I was going through Ashland, and everybody I know who lives there was gone for that part of the year, the season. Two were in India, one, sorry about the dogs, Pakistan, all over the place. But nobody was there that I really knew well enough to stay with. And I couldn't make it over to Hornbrook because that's a pretty good push on the bike. So I thought, well, shit, and I was in Medford that day. I can make it to Ashland. I had come from Klamath Falls down. This is all on the bike. And I get to Medford and I'm like, all right, I'm going to go to the bike shop. I go downtown Medford and I'm downtown at that park. And I love Medford and I love the area. As a matter of fact, I almost moved there and to Jackson and all that area. So I'm like, okay, what's going on here? The place has changed. I'm down by the bus station. And there was just people on meth and like fentanyl bent over all around that bathroom in the park and stuff. And I was like, oh shit, this is really getting ugly. I mean, and I can compare. I live in South America half of the year. I go back and forth. Things just change every time. So I see this guy right next to me, and I'm like, whoa, he's gonna fall over on me. But they were all over, and I had to stand there and wait for my Uber because I needed to get a ride just a certain distance because I wanted to go to Jackson first. Anyway, long story. So I finally get to Ashland. I'm going to stay at a hostel because there's no one else. And all the hotels are full. There's the Shakespeare Festival is live. Everything's going on. And so I'm like, all right, do I stay in a hostel in Ashland? I don't know. I looked at pictures of it and I'm like, that looks like, okay, it's kind of cool, whatever. Talk to the guy. He seemed real cool. And I get there and the guy was totally different. And that's another story. The guy, he was just totally off beat. And so I'm like, all right, well, I guess I'm going to have to stay here. And I've stayed places all over the world and some of the worst in South America, Nepal, India. But this one takes the cake. So I'm like, this is weird, getting weirder now. And anyway, he goes, here's your room. And there's a little code you put in to get in and stuff. And I'm like, okay. And it seemed clean enough, sort of. And I'm laying in my bed reading, and all of a sudden I hear the door coming open and the little numbers getting pushed. And all of a sudden the door comes open and it's that guy from Medford that was in the park leaning over that I almost fell on me. It's that guy. and his eyes are like about this big. He's like, oh, what are you doing in here? And I guess he stays there a lot. He thought he had his own room. And so all of a sudden it was like, okay, well, this is bad, you know? And I didn't know what to say to him. I go, I'm here and this is where I'm staying tonight. And then he goes, hold on. He took off and he went next door to another room. Another guy was staying who used to be his roommate, I guess. All these people kind of knew each other. And then he said, and he comes back to me. He goes, I'm staying over here in this other room with my buddy. And I go, good. Okay, that's fine. And then he was gone. And yeah, that was okay. So he left. Oh, and then he went in the bathroom. There's only one bathroom there. And he was in the bathroom for like 3 hours. So I was like, well, he must be just hunched over in the bathroom now. Seen a lot of stuff, man, but that was pretty ugly. So yeah, I'm sorry to tell that story about my experience, last one in Medford, but I've also had a lot of good ones. And I grew up in Northern California in a town called Chico, and spent a lot of time between Chico and all that area. That's where I grew up. And it's the same. It's the same there too. So it's no different in Medford, Grants Pass, all the way down, Redding, Chico, all that stuff. Stockton's in Fresno, and then it gets just a little worse, and then it gets better. It gets real bad, and then you get through Mexico, and then you get into, it kind of goes up and down. It's a different regional type of drug problem. Down there, it would be more cocaine. Up here, it would be the stuff that immediately kills you. Yeah, Chico's was hometown. I haven't been there in a few years. And that's the other thing. It's probably Medford's probably getting a little cooler there too now, huh? I just came from up near Bellingham, so and now I'm from that extreme to the other in the desert. So, but I prefer the drier stuff. So Medford is a great place for me. That area now, just recently in the last few years, my folks were looking at moving there, and I was actually looking. Well, Hornbrook is where I focused on because of my friends, but Hornbrook, there's a lot of great land there for sale, and it's cheap, but it's just full of growers now, and then also just it's pretty whacked out. I mean, it was always a little bit offbeat, but now I'm glad I didn't do that. Thanks, Demi. Awesome to have you. Thanks for coming in. Oh, dang. Huh? All right. So, oh, yeah. We've been talking about, there's 4 people here now. So, catch you up a little bit. I talked earlier. Thank you. You got to go, Demi. Thank you for coming over. You stay safe, especially up there. I will down here. It's getting dark. I'll be around for a few. I got to finish my coffee here. The bike's saying, "Hey, man, you better shut the lights down. I want to go to bed." But anyway, if my bike could talk, and been doing a lot of homeless videos lately, only because I kind of been living that half. I mean, I always have, but it's been a pretty extreme, especially in the last 8 months. So, not that I'm in right there, on the streets or something. I'd try to avoid staying in any towns or anything like that. That's why I'm set up the way I am. And also for America, it's not really for me. My lifestyle fits better in other places. America's a tougher place to live, like a guy like me. But I sure love my homeland and all that kind of stuff. No argument there. I mean, I don't. I think it's just the cycles. We're going through some cycles, and it's collective, and everybody's feeling like they're all in this together or something. I don't know. Try to separate yourself a little bit from it. It's the best you can do, because it's so whirlwind energy, wacky vibration out there. You almost can't avoid it. You just have to drink a little coffee and as my grandma used to say, smoke them if you got them. And she didn't even smoke. And once your grandma catches you, nobody else matters. That's an old, that I made that up. Made that up for people that would say, if they were smoking weed or something, oh no, I got caught, and I'd say, well, was it your grandma? And they would look at me funny and shake their hand, and they wouldn't get it. I go, well, once your grandma catches you, nobody else matters, except for maybe your kids or the ancient Chinese curse. May you live in yeah. Fun times. The best thing to do is enjoy it. You're here. We're all here. Somebody said to me, God, I hate my life. This was just recently. I said, oh, wow, yeah. He said, yeah. Well, why? How'd you get here? I always ask people, how'd you get here if you hate your life? How'd you get this far? I don't always enjoy the road, how rocky it is either. And it's been pretty rocky, like dead end rocky. So if you made it this far, I say to somebody, if you made it this far, you're very fortunate, and that's a fucking miracle. And if you make it today, another hour, that's a miracle too. Even the next minute, you just don't realize how many fucking miracles you. So live the miracles, because they're happening every second, even though they feel like shit sometimes. Like one of my great favorite musicians and writers, Neil Peart, said, adventures usually suck when you're having them. And that's true. I believe that one a lot of times, not always. But the real adventures that you remember sometimes suck, when you're having them in the moment. Hey, welcome everybody who's here, all three of you. It's easy and great to have just a few people here to talk to, because I get like more than maybe 4 or 5, and I can't handle it. I'm not I can talk to a group all together, but not individually very well. But ask questions, since I've only got 3 people here. And give me a like if it's your first time here. And there's the bike in the back. It's fading slowly. It's going, man, turn the lights down, dude. Thanks for the likes. Thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't do a lot of lives like with a lot of notice. It's like spontaneous. And I've been up in the Northwest, just got back to the desert. So I'm kind of winding down before I head down to South America, Mexico, a little bit, over to Hawaii. So that's the bike's going to get left behind a lot. And then I'll take off and go somewhere and come back and rejoin the bike as I move the bike southward. It'll be southbound. I have another bike in Medellin, Colombia. And that bike is a steel touring bike. And if this is your first time here, it's not all about bikes. There's a lot of bike stuff, a lot of tips in here. Sorry about the lighting, man. It looks like I'm just fading. And then also a lot of stories. My Alaska climbing days. I used to be a balancing bike life. You've heard this a million times. But yeah, I retired veteran mountain guide, alpine guide in Alaska, in the Denali National Park area and all over the world, but mainly there. And then started bicycling a few years ago, and now turned climbing life into biking, and spent a year in Colombia. And that's kind of how that's when it really started for me. I mean, I'd been touring before, but Colombia is a big part of my life. And Alaska, not so much anymore. I miss Alaska. I'll be doing a big trip up there. Not this coming spring, but the next one. If I make it that far, if I'm lucky enough to have that many more heartbeats, then I'll be there. And if I'm lucky enough to be able to have the independence to go do this big, huge project, not about biking, but I'll be back in the mountains again, May of 2027. Oh, I drove a car. I've had a lot of cars, trucks, cars, vans. I've driven to Alaska. Oh, probably let's see, 4 different cars, 12 different times, and taken the ferry a whole bunch. But oh yeah, I lived in Alaska. I had a big ass Suburban in Alaska, and I had a Nissan truck, and I had a Toyota, and I had a VW, and I've had a lot of cars. I'm 60. You're older than I am, aren't you? Yeah. So here's what happened with driving for me is, let's see, how many years? About 6 years ago, uh, when I first started doing Columbia, my license expired, and it's good for you, like I don't know, a few years you can renew it or whatever in Alaska. And then I vowed to never have another license in the lower 48. It will only be Alaska. It's the only place I'll ever have a license again. And I haven't been up there to get a license since then. So the important thing for me is a passport. And that's been the important thing for me. So I don't even drive anymore. Oh, you're 53. I'm sorry. I was talking to someone, can't remember who it was, said they were 61. Oh, that was the guy in Argentina. Yeah. He was here with us, you and I talking. So yeah, I mean that's what happened. And see, another thing for me is when I'm somewhere else, I don't need a car. And I wouldn't ever drive in another country, especially Colombia, or Nepal or any of those places. I would never drive. And it's so easy to get around, and it's so cheap to get around that. And if I'm guiding a group, if I'm leading 4 people down there and I need a bus or a van or a car, I can just go like this. Hey, amigo, give them $100 and they'll take me 400 miles. That's just a metaphor or whatever. So it's been easy for me, and all the projects I do up here, like Orcas Island and every other project, is set up for me before I go there. And I sit here on this laptop for hours and hours, days and days, not on end, getting ready. And I've been doing it so much, it's pretty simple for me to like formulate. Okay, I just have to know the prices of things regionally to put together my estimates and everything I need for material. And then I got to have my expediter there. I got to have somebody to go to the hardware store for me. I don't ever leave the job unless it's my one day off a week. I take one day. Sometimes I don't take that day, but I'll take the one day and I'll go out and do my own thing. But every day I'm on the job. I don't go out for lunch and hang out and take off early or anything. I don't got the kids to pick up or any excuses to go do anything. I'm at the job full time, and I'll work a long day. So I get the job done, and then I'm done. I'm a project carpenter. I get the project done, then I leave. And I've had perfect success with it. The only thing that I've ever had glitches on is just like after the job. Like, okay, do I want a bicycle or do I just take, because I always want to have the bike with me. The bike creates a different challenge for me, but it's not that bad. I just send the bike flights. Started using bike flights, and then I could send the bike, have someone send it to me, box it up before I leave, whatever, and then go to the projects. So that's how I do it. The people that I do projects for know me, most of them, unless it's something new, which God forbid. I like going to the ones I know because people know me. And they're like, hey, Darin, okay, this year, this is what we're going to do. Like for instance, soon, I'll go be building some stairs and all this big ones, and then I'll be going to do some other stuff, some facades and some cosmetics. So those are things that are out there that are kind of scheduled, and everything's there when I get there and had plenty of time. And that person who's there, who wants the work done, is like getting the stuff all done. And because they like the fact that people like the fact that you're there and you don't leave, you know. But my rule, my number one rule, if that's what I'm going to be doing, I just got to have that. It's usually per diem or room and board, but I'm there at the job. And also that I don't get bothered or watched over by somebody asking me questions all the time. And that is something that really slows me down. And so sure, if it's like another contractor or somebody else, that's fine, somebody I'm working with. But just to kind of stand around, ask questions, and me teaching someone how to do the job, that's always an understanding before I even show up. So I know that sounds kind of cocky, but that's the only way I can get it done. The only way to get it done efficiently and not is to have it all understood before you go, and all on paper. Everything out there on paper. And so then there's no questions, because you can go right down the dotted lines and go, this is what was going to be done. And that afterwards is like a win-win for everybody. Hey, everything got done. I paid what I thought I was going to pay or less, unless there's all those little things, unforeseens. Those are normal and everybody knows. Hopefully. So anyway, all three of you, thank you for watching. It's getting a little dark out here, and I appreciate you. If you're new, give me a thumbs up. I know I've got a few people here, and it's been fun. I love talking. Yeah, it's 11 o'clock. Hey, Balancing Bike Life, dude, thank you. Thank you for, once again, you're a diehard. I don't know how you can listen to me so long. I get tired of my own voice. But, I guess I was born to talk since I'm on YouTube. Although I'll go, like I said, months without talking to anybody. So I'm making up for lost time, I guess. Thanks, man. You have a good night. Sleep good, buddy. Be careful at work tomorrow. All right, everybody. Gosh, if you have any questions, sorry, I'm starting to space out there. I was looking at if you have any questions, ask me. Love to answer them. I'm not in a hurry to go anywhere. I'm going to reach over here to this other cup of coffee, though, just real quick. Oh, shit, the coffee's gone. The coffee's gone. Uh-oh. Well, I guess that means time to wrap it up. At least close to. All right. Hold on a minute. Let me go heat up a little more coffee real quick. We're going to take 5. Take 5. Still early. Back at what time we got here? I'll be back at 8:05. This has been fun, so I think it's all right I don't think I'm going to get in trouble, because there's nobody to get in trouble by. 8:05. And we'll see. I'll be right back. Give me a thumbs up if you're going to hang around a little bit. Anybody? You probably already did, that person here that's here. I'll be right back. All right. Okay. I don't know if anyone's still there, but I think I burnt my coffee. You know, we can always use a microwave. I'm not camping, but I'm going to do it like what's his name does. Hey, welcome everybody. I just had to grab a little more coffee, and I just, for some reason, I can't seem to do without it. Believe it or not, I'm in the desert, but it's going to get chilly. I can feel it tonight. Tomorrow I'll wake up and be clear and cold. What's funny down here, hey, give me a thumbs up if it's your first time here. That way I don't have to repeat everything, or I can. I don't mind. Everybody else, I'll make a shortened version. Here's my new rain jacket, bike rain jacket. I wish I could show it to you. It's kind of dark, but it's definitely getting chilly out here. I can feel it. In the winter, it gets colder than shit out here. Hey, you know, okay, man, bouncing bike life left. Everybody left except somebody's still here. I'm going to guess who it is. Well, I know it's not Demi. I know it's not. It's an anonymous viewer. Cool. Well, say hello if you want to. You can listen along. I sure like camping, though. You know, that's why I'm out here. Funny thing is, one of the things that happened to me was when I went to Outward Bound, my semester, Colorado Outward Bound out mountaineering program. I was out for a whole semester out in the tent, and then I got back home to California, and this is the reason I think I'm always outside, is I couldn't handle it in the house. I was like, okay, Mom, I'll be out on the back deck, and I was sleeping out on the porch looking out. We lived in a place called Half Moon Bay, California. We had a great view of the ocean, and I would just roll my bag out there and my stove, just like this little stove here. I had a Peak One, Coleman Peak One back then. That's how old I am. Which is, I mean, it's not that old. Old enough. But I could never sleep inside after that all the time. I mean, I haven't been, when you watch my channel, I do a lot of homeless stuff. I haven't been sleeping outside all these years, but I was a mountain guide and I guided climbers all the time in the summertime. So I was out in a tent most of the time. So, and then after that, you know, raft guiding, and then just traveling around the world with my climbing partner to Asia and other places. Tent. Villages, sometimes we sleep in a village and just sleep in a nice bed. But if you've been watching me long enough, you know I like comforts. I love a nice bed, a nice hotel, a nice one. You know, it's hard for me to stay in a Motel 6 or any of those places anymore. I'd rather camp because it's cleaner. Staying in those places to me is like a risk now, and it's like stressful. Can't touch anything, you know. And I'm not even that much of a clean freak, but these days, you know, just got to be careful. So I take a little, like every bike trip, I have at least a little bottle of alcohol, not the wipes. I have those too, but I spray shit when I have to stay in a hotel. And people will say, "Oh, isn't that kind of anal?" And I go, "Well, not really, as much as I'm out there touching different things. I finally learned to not touch my mouth. You know, that's a big, when you travel internationally, you just learn to not touch your mouth, and you shouldn't do it here either. I'm not saying you shouldn't. That's a bad thing to say on here. I'm not giving instructions. You should do whatever you want. That's the main thing. Do whatever you fucking want. Hello, everybody. Sorry if you can't. Sorry about my French. And if you're French, sorry I used that as an never mind. So we've kind of gone different directions here, and you know me, Darin, Tectonic. I'm the whatever. I'm the pro at detours. I go detour off the beaten path, and that's what I seem to do with the conversations because people kind of come and go in here at night, and I don't stick around this long usually. I've been on here an hour, but when there's somebody new watching, I like to just explain. But it's kind of dark. You can't see my bike anymore. You can't see me, and just kind of camping out here in the land of the well, I'm near the Mexico border in Southern California, and just came from the Northwest up near Vancouver, BC, and been doing a lot of stuff. Still got so much editing, so much video that it'll probably just get old and lost because it's not part of the future adventure that we're going on right now. So anyway, if you're new, haven't seen me before, give me a thumbs up and ask any questions. And I'm open here. Only a few of you here to talk. I can't multitask over 5 people usually, so this is perfect if you want to know about what's going on here in the dark, and or just watch my videos, check them out. I've only been YouTubing. Oh God, what about 6 months now? I mean, I've had a channel for quite a couple years, but I've been doing this lifestyle for a long time, and now YouTube has come along with me. And the algorithm hasn't really loved it too much, but you know, small groups of people learn to love who you are instead of you trying to change who you are. And that's Orbis, right on. Happy. Let's see, what time is it there? Man, it's late, dude. Argentina, our friend from Argentina is here. Good evening, Orbis. Man, we missed you. I was just talking about you about an hour ago. Balancing Bike Life was here. We were chit-chatting with another new friend from Demi Johnson from Medford, Oregon. And as you know, I've been talking about like how bad that is. My bike trips down through Medford and all through those valleys, how nasty it is in Central California and Oregon. She lives there, and she didn't take offense. She was really helpful and was understanding, and it was good. I was like, right there was a person to kind of solidify what I've been saying about how hard it is as a cyclist, adventure cyclist or tourist, cycle tourist, whatever you're going to call me. I don't know. Labeled a few things here. Okay, 0010. Oh, we were up later the other night, weren't we, on here? Hey, it's 108. I've been on here 108. That's the lucky number in Buddhism and other Hindu. If you see that number 108 a lot, let me know. It's a good thing. And I'm not superstitious or anything, but that's a great one. I even have that. Well, I have that P.O. box somewhere. I just can't say where. P.O. Box 108. Hi, everyone. All right, that's you, buddy. All right, Orbis. Any questions? Anyone else? Who do we got here? We got Orbis on. Anybody new out there? Give me a thumbs up. Say hello. See the shadow of the bike here. Let's see if we can do any better with. So check out this light I got here. I got this from somebody. I have a headlamp, but this lady gave me this on my trip. She says, you live in a tent. You could probably use this. And, actually it was pretty cool. I like hanging it in the tent. And the other thing is I like about this thing, check it out. I don't know what are these for? Why do they put red lights on? Is that like emergency? They don't blink or anything. So I kind of, hey, let's do this. Let's see what this looks like. Welcome to Tectonic Traveler, Uncle D's super psychedelic cyberspace, where we take another detour off the main path. All right. Red light district. Here we are. We are red lighting it tonight. All right. Hey, enough of that messing around with the lights. And Orbis, what's going on tonight? What'd you do this weekend? You know, I'm always asking if you have questions, but I'm going to ask you guys questions. And if you're new here, hey, I got another thumbs up. Right on. Hey, bear with me if you're new here. This is a little different. We're just hanging out, having coffee. I mean, I do this a lot, but I'm in between trips right now. I got back from the Northwest and getting ready to edit some stuff. I do got to tell one thing while you guys are on here is I'm editing a video, and I went up to a place. It's here in California in the Gold Country, and it's a place called Sonora, and I biked over Sonora Pass. But on my way over, I did some work, and I also went through this little town and visited this guy who he's pretty well known in the local area. He owns a hardware store, and his name's Dan, or I'm sorry, his name's Dick. Sorry, it's Dan's Cave on Dick's property. No lie. And anyway, so on his private property, there's a bunch of those old mining caves, and Sonora's a big mining area, and he's got some that come down to the like right off the creek where people have mined for years. And these caves are, and I have video, and I'm going to edit the video and finally make it, where they're about 4 or 5 feet, in diameter. And some are a little bit bigger. Some are big enough for a cow to walk into, and not a horse, but a cow, low enough, smaller cow. Anyway, medium-sized cow. So what has happened over the years there is back in the 1800s, people's livestock, dogs would go in there and not come out. And, back then they could only go in so far. This thing had collapsed apparently on a few people. They died. They didn't go in there. So it's kind of an abandoned hole. There's a few of them. And the deal is after the people's livestock would roll in there, or things like, little things, dogs. Then in the 1800s, a couple of kids went in there, and they never came out. And it was only so much back then, technology, they had to get down in there. So they never got anything out. No kids, nothing. Another time, there's a miner that went in there, left his tools outside, went in, never found. Now, it's not steep. It goes straight in and then just kind of gets about 300 feet back, channels off in different directions, collapses also. So this spot was real hairy for anyone, and still is to this day. And my friend says he's been back in there. So the footage I have is I stuck my camera. I got in there a little ways and I stuck my camera in there, not very far. And I'm like, I'm not fucking going in there. So here's what's happened in the last few years is like a couple of dogs. Now it's on his property, but people go on up that creek all the time and they fish and they gold pan and stuff. So here's the weird part is they'll hear whistling in there. And that's been the thing over the years is they're not sure if the kids heard whistling in there or talking. That's been another thing. People talking in there, no screaming, no yelling like help, nothing like that. That's the thing about the story. I'm going to post it in that description in that video. I have a story about those kids that never came out, and it was posted in the Sonora Gazette or whatever. And so that happened. And then in the just recent years, dogs going in. Now, he's never lost anything, but somebody said, hey, man, my dogs, this is back in the 90s, my dogs went in there and your caveman fucking never came out. And there was whistling in there. And the guy, Dick, has heard stuff in there. He started clinking around like somebody's working in there and stuff. And he just shakes his head. And and he's up there with his dogs, and he takes them on a leash. He doesn't let his dogs out of his property, and it's in my video, is totally fenced off, or his house area. He's got a guest house, a house, a pool, and all that. And his fence is so bomber that his dogs cannot get out, and he's got 8 dogs. Why he has eight dogs, I do not know. He doesn't even know. So Dick, uh, Dan's Cave, and anyway, local. It's a local legend, local thing, and there's a lot of stuff like that around there with miners. If you look up Sonora, you can find a zillion, hundreds of different stories and stuff like that about the mining days. But I thought that was cool. So I hiked, and you'll see in my video the hike is kind of hairy. I mean, in videos never do justice, but it was steep to get down. We had to hike down to the creek, and it doesn't look like the Northwest up there. It's not as how it is in California, not as bushy, and manzanitas and stuff. And then we hiked up the creek about a quarter mile, and then up a little tiny side creek where he gold pans. That's where that little cave is. And also, I think it's in the video, but when there's a couple of them when you first start hiking up there where a homeless person has been living over recently, because there was like some shoes there and like a bunch of trash and shit, right? So they'd been like staying right in the entrance of one of those caves, man. Uh, Pretty nuts. Gonna be a good video. Uh, I'm surprised I haven't made the video yet, but I've been busy just going from here to there, and that one's going to take some editing. And if you watch my videos, I don't do a lot of editing. I kind of straight through and try to minimize my editing. We're not here for bells and whistles. I'm trying to give you the real shit, the real stories. And as I get into Mexico and when I get into Latin America, uh, that will be a little different. I don't want to hype it up too much, but it'll be different. And you're going to meet some people that are going to be with me, friends of mine, families, people. They're going to take me through. I'll be going into Comuna 13 and some places way down south. So where I spent a lot of time, where I actually almost died and got beat up a couple times. So we're going back, but we're going back in a whole different, in a different light. I want to say it that way. So I hope you'll hang around and stay subscribed for those, and won't be stringing you around too long. I try not to. If there's nothing to talk about, I usually I have plenty from the past. So if I have anything going on right in the moment, man, do I can't even stop coming up with stuff from Alaska and Nepal, India, and a lot of other places internationally, with all the people I've been with and around, and it's just been amazing. I've had an amazing life. Uh, Never been bored, that's for sure. It hasn't been good many times, and it's been fucking fantastic other times. So I appreciate you guys for listening and watching all the videos. And it looks like I'm getting smaller and smaller as the lights die out here. I have solar lights out here. They've all gone away now, and now we're down to the red light, just about. We are solidly in red light district. Oh, there's a solar light behind me right there. I guess I'm. Oh, they're all here. I'm just blocking them out. Classic. All right. Well, man. Any questions out there? Oh, hey, I got to read Orbis. You left me. Sorry. I'm on the countryside this week, trying to make fan. Oh, badass. I'm gonna look that up. I got to get down there, man. I'm coming down there, man. Make fence. Trying to make fence. Are you building fence in the countryside? So I'm assuming when you say countryside, you might be on the coast. Normally, I don't know if that's right to say. If that's, I'm assuming. Or oh no, you're out of the city, maybe in the countryside. No, see, gotcha. Entiendo. Uh, Ah, sí, entiendo. No see here. Oh, Aconcagua. That's right. Damn. How far is Aconcagua from where you are? Dry. Yeah. I like dry. I can't wait. Watch me. Keep an eye on me, Orbis, because I'm coming down there. I'm Valeuco. Okay. Bitching. I'm coming. So I haven't talked to anyone there yet, but I'm collaborating with a few other people on the way down there, and a couple of people that are helping me out and kind of looking over me in a few of these places as I go into some weird and wacky areas. Favela. Favela. Not going there. Read my Instagram too. There was a couple people here on Instagram, so I don't usually go live on Instagram, but I did tonight. I don't even know my handle on there, like by heart. I have to always look at it. Hey man, thank you for coming, you guys. I'm starting to fade out here, battery wise. Let me see here. I still got a little left. I'll talk for a little bit longer, but starting to get sure not tired though. I've had enough coffee. Thanks for all the likes. Thanks for all the subscribes, man. If you're still watching, I know Orbis, you're still with me, and I appreciate everybody who's been watching tonight. If you're new, give me a thumbs up. Got a little more to talk about. Finishing up my coffee here. We're camping out by the bike here. Not really camping, but I don't stay inside much. I'm an outside guy, as you probably know if you've been watching my stuff. Who's back? Who came back? If you're new, thumbs up, and I'll stay on for a little longer, or I'll stay on longer anyway. I can't wait to start looking up some of this stuff, Orbis, on Argentina. Can't wait to get down there. Beautiful. Some Chardonnay deep down in Argentina. In the countryside. Badass. Mendoza. That's right, Mendoza. Land of the sun and good wine. Gotta love it, man. It's so great to have. What I really like is is the contrast for us. And I've liked this has been something in my life with Alaska, South America. The whole thing is just the contrast and to be able to communicate in across that contrast, you know, where it's cold and to where it's hot, to the opposite season, like polar opposite season where we're going into winter and you're heading headlong into summer. Isn't that bitching? I think that's badass. That's how those are the things that, about technology, people and I've done the same thing. Oh no, technology. And it's like crazy, really weird and wacky and fast and scary at the same time, very beautiful that we can play in it and stay out of it if we need to. That's hard. But like my Tibetan Lama friend said, he got to play in it, play in the joys and the sorrows. Got to play in it. You can't be a. And the other thing was, he said, "Well, you're a white guy, Westerner. You can't. you don't want to be a llama or a monk. And I'm like, yeah, I know, that'd be horrible. I can't, I'm not, I'm not made or ready to wear the robe, and to go into being, but that's the beauty of my life is I like to play in all the fun stuff, the technology, and talk across to you down there, be on the cell phone sometimes, and then not. And you've been watching me long enough to know, for me being in the mountains and disconnected from everyone for a month at a time, I can do that, and I feel at home. I feel at home there. A little anxiety for a little bit. Oh God, I can't get anybody, and then it's gone. I'm over it. I have to be, you know. When I'm deep in the mountains, I just got to be out of it, and it's a beautiful thing. Or I can sit here and talk about how I like it. Well, you enjoy that Chardonnay, man. I think I'm going to wrap it up here, and instead of taking another break, I think it's time to probably wrap it up. And I hope you guys have a great Monday. And for you in South America, Argentina, Orbis, enjoy the evening in the land of the sun and the good wine. That's pretty cool. And you, that other person there that's looking at me, you have a great night. Have a great week. I'll be back sometime in the next couple days out here, a little earlier, I hope. But it's been too hot to be out here early, so now it's I can jump out here a little earlier, and I work when I need to. Actually, I work early in the morning online, and then I throughout the day I just check in and getting ready for my next trips. My life is I mean, it's not fun, but it is all about the next trip, or not, or the last trip. But most of the time it's about planning the next trip and trying to focus on the logistics. So right now it's nice just to be able to sit here and talk to people, make new friends. As you can see, it's harder for me if you've been subscribed to me to when I'm traveling, I'm not on here live at all. I haven't been, but I'm going to be more, especially when I get that new camera. I'm trying to either get a good deal on the new camera or get a free one, but I think it's going to be a discount, not a free camera. I don't think I have that much clout yet, but you just wait. They'll be they'll be begging me to take their camera. No, I'm not going to get too egotistical about it. I could just use a good camera that I could film rather than that Android phone. I've already been through 2 iPhones, and can't afford another one unless somebody's going to give me one, and that doesn't happen very often. So, camera first, new phone later, and I just got this beautiful new computer, Final Cut Pro, and my Apple laptop. That is a big deal for me, especially as I'm getting ready to do this full time. So, thanks, you guys. Please like and subscribe. If you're enjoying it, there's only a couple of you there, but probably already have. This is a video too. I will leave public, and please support my adventures so I can make you better videos. PayPal, Darin Dunn 123, or just enjoy everything. And later down the road, if you want to support me as I'm out traveling, that'd be great too. Buys me a cup of coffee or a cheap taco out there in the middle of nowhere somewhere at a taco truck. Thank you very much. And we'll talk to you guys soon. Thanks, Orbis. And thanks, whoever else is watching. Sleep tight.